one thing is that I unfortunately drive quite a bit, and so when I was guided to start making these videos, I was also given the very specific information of it was a vision. I'll share it with you. The vision was two things. It was first I used to work in fine dining and restaurants, and I should remember the name of this, and someone tell me, the specialists in dessert, the ones that make the pretty things that's art, you know, they have so many skills around being able to make spheres and like art that is out of brown sugar or something like that. They just can do so many things, and it's just incredible, and then you eat it. But there's a vision that I had was like that, where the process of making like a chocolate sphere, you have like a mold, it's half of a sphere, and you put the chocolate in it, and then you have another one, and then you take them out of the molds, they're two half spheres, and you put them together with like the melted chocolate, and then you can like kind of make it in some way uniform. I don't know how they do that, probably with something warm, and then it's really hollow inside, but it's really shiny and beautiful and perfectly round. And so I got this image of that process of creating a beautiful, perfect sphere out of chocolate that is hollow and shiny. And then I got just cacao beans that were raw falling into a bowl. And the message was basically like, I got a message with it, which was, it would spend a lot of my wheels trying to perfect an image of something, editing it, making it, you know, beautiful, so that I didn't have any like fumbling words of my absent-minded ADHD brain or whatever. It would take a lot of my time, unnecessary time that I really don't have a lot of, to create those videos, which I've done before for other things. And so instead, the importance is the rawness of it. And so here I am, often driving, which is often when I'm chatting. Friends of mine on Marco Polo, I will send them videos while I'm driving. So I'm going to utilize that time that I have for this as well. And so of that, I thought I would kind of go into briefly some resources that have been really helpful for me in my ascension, because I wasn't really given any. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know what to do. I was basically just on my own with it, trying to find language to share it with the people I trust to get some kind of guidance. And of that, I was kind of guided in certain directions for assistance. And so one I mentioned earlier was just in general, Gaia. The show Gaia was really helpful to me, and specifically Initiation. That show kind of like describing how the universe is put together with, you know, science, geometry, all of it was just so helpful. But the next, I think the biggest one that came upon me, and I'm gonna have to check my notes, but I think one of the biggest was that I was gifted in the middle of the night, as I often am. I was awakened with words. I'm often awakened with specific words that repeat over and over that you can't forget when you wake up. You know, if you're given certain words, you're just like, well, there is no other word like Melchizedek, or being awakened by Vishnu, or Saint Thomas Aquinas, not knowing who any of these people are or gods are outside of anything, like never hearing their names before. You have nothing to say, like, I watched a show about this last week, so that's why it was in my subconscious. I had none of that. So that was really interesting. But in this particular time I was awakened, usually at 3 a.m., was with the term It was a vision, actually. It was a vision of someone handing me a box, and when I opened the box, there was the word the all. The word z, that's plural. There's two of them. The words the all. Had not heard that particular phrasing of it. I mean, of course, I could conceive from that this is likely about a God, because it's the all. But I didn't know that was actually language that was used in a certain specific way. And so sometimes when I awaken from these moments in the morning that were still very specific in my brain, the all, I would then get myself my glasses on in the morning, because I just get my glasses on first thing in the morning to read my phone because it's so small. But I searched that, and you'd think they're two very common words. Well, used specifically together, they're in reference to something known as the Hermetic Principles. And the Hermetic Principles are derived from, and they have 3 incarnations, and I teach classes about this, that there are some truths that have spanned over time, and many, not just these 3, but this particular delivery system of lessons has taken 3 incarnations. Specifically, the first was the Emerald Tablets that were in ancient Egypt. Many believe Atlantean times. Not everyone believes that there is a lost city of Atlantis, but most people in the metaphysical community can come to an agreement that that is a thing. And so there is an image of an Egyptian god Thoth, T-O-T-H, or T-H-O-T-H, is it Thoth? Now my brain is completely blank. He's the god that has the long beak, and he's the scribe, he's the writer, of course, and he wrote these foundational laws of the universe on tablets made of emeralds. And then in, 3rd century AD, Hermes Trismegistus, the thrice great Hermes, who is said to be really just a fictional being, that kind of took this name, reincarnated through time, maybe the Dalai Lama, I don't know. I just know that's a real thing. So Hermes Trismegistus, he wrote something called the Corpus Hermeticum, and it's written as ancient philosophy, with kind of a set of rules of, if this is true, then this is also true. And then you read through this incredible bit of knowledge that is worded in ways that make your brain go and you can only absorb what vibration you're at. And so a lot of people get new things out of that kind of writing. Every time they read it, they get new information from it, and it's really incredible. And so there's that. And then the 3rd incarnation of this is through what's known as the Kabbalion. And the Kabbalion was written, I want to say it was 1908, but it could have also been 1912, and both of those are not really that close to each other, but I know it's one or the other. I'm driving, I don't have my references in front of me. But so that is written by what's known as the 3 initiates, and the 3 initiates are a mystery. It was during an era where there was a lot of metaphysical stuff being explored. People were doing seances and things of that nature, and there was a lot of buildup around the occult at that time and exploration. And the occult meaning secret, not Satanism, just so you know. Just go right to that, because that's what it was taught to me as a kid. The occult means Satanism. But that's not. And also, like, Satanism is not, like, I know some Satanists, they're pretty nice. They just don't like rules. It's cool. Whatever. Anyway, so the Kabbalion, I purchased it. It is known to be something associated with the words the all in all caps. And so I purchased it on Amazon and digested it to pieces. I was just so enthralled. And it was like the third incarnation of this writing of the basic laws of the universe. And there's 7 Hermetic principles. 7 is a very sacred number just in general. In every belief system, everywhere, all the time, it's 7, which is cool because I was born in 77. But it's kind of neat, I think. But I got distracted by a sticker that is the sign for Gemini. So that's my brain. So it was kind of like the third incarnation. The first was the Emerald Tablets, then the Corpus Hermeticum, and then the Kabbalion. And the Kabbalion's fairly like simple. It's like it doesn't have a lot of lacy, confusing language in it, like the others do that are fairly symbolic. It gets right to the point. It's like the Cliff's Notes version, but still like keeps the essence of it pure. And it goes through those 7 principles of the entire universe, which, spoiler for that, is that those principles are copied in every major religion in their sacred texts since the dawning of the written word. And so there's a continuity that is undeniable. And I was just really, really excited to find this, given that I was awakened in the middle of the night by the words the all that led me to this whole rabbit hole that was the foundation for everything. And that was around the same time that I was introduced to my first spirit guide and teacher, Melchizedek, and that just allowed for just an incredibly exciting time. I love learning anyway, but it almost felt like, if any of you have ever been around a child that's 5 years old that's about to start kindergarten, they're so excited. They're like ready to learn, and they have this idea of what learning is going to be like, and they're super excited, and they've got their backpack and their pencils, and they don't know the school system is really like oppressive and sad yet. They're just excited to meet friends and their new teacher and get to like cut things with scissors that are curved and safe in colored construction paper, like that's fun. And they just have this like blank joy across their face, like a golden retriever. And then you quickly kind of lose that in school when you like, especially I think that the cutoff is 3rd grade. Like at 3rd grade, you're like, oh man, this stinks and people are mean and I've lost some friends and everything's sad and I really have to go to the bathroom, but I'm afraid to ask or they won't let me or whatever. We start getting kind of like, our spirit dies. But the kindergarten feeling, I definitely felt it. Like as soon as that happened, and before that, I just felt that magic of there's so much to learn. I'm so excited. I can't wait to ... And it was everything. That ... was the entire universe. And I was so excited to embark upon this. And once you like get started down that rabbit trail of the Hermetic principles, it just leads to everything everywhere. Not all at once, like the movie, which is oddly accurate except for that whole one scene that was very uncomfortable to watch with my daughter. Also, hot dog hands. I can't get behind that. Although it's probably an alternate dimension, I imagine. Anyway, I digress. I found it to be a very, very helpful thing. And in fact, a lot of people don't love digging deep in those ways like I do. Like they have maybe a shorter attention span, let's say. And mine's pretty short, but I'm really like into learning new new things. In fact, I don't even read fiction. I never have. I've always wanted nonfiction, or memoir, something that, you know, is just a true fact. I want to read about it. I don't really like fiction, so it's not hard for me to like go deep dive into philosophy. But some people, that's really difficult for them. And so other ways to like gather that information is like I teach a class on it, but outside of that, there, like the show Initiation, there's a couple episodes that go into those Hermetic principles. There's also like endless supplies of it on YouTube. Just like put in the 7 Hermetic principles and you can get like a 3-minute version of each one, and it'll be like, oh, I've heard of that before, and you can, you know, kind of ease into it that way. Or if you want to go hardcore, buy one of those 3 books. But if you don't really dig on intense philosophy, get the Kabbalion, because it's about this thick, that thick, which is not very thick, and it's just like number 1, boom, number 2, boom, and it's just like easy. But be advised, as they start unfolding, they never stop. There's like a layer, and then there's infinite layers after that that continue, that just blow your mind kablooey, and it's just cool. It's cool. So have some fun with that if you so choose.